California Governor Gavin Newsom has almost 1,000 laws on his desk that he gets to veto or sign, and he faces a deadline of Monday at midnight. Coming up, we'll give you the good, the bad, the ugly on the new laws that Newsom has signed into effect and those that he vetoed. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and we've been watching the various laws passed by the liberal Democrat supermajority-led state legislature here in California. And they've passed this year over 980 proposed laws. And those bills are now on the governor's desk. The governor gets to either sign or veto those bills. And it's always a question of whether Newsom will do anything to moderate the insanity of the far left politicians that dominate the legislative process in California with their supermajority. We've got a list of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And of course, the jury's still out on nearly half the laws proposed by the legislature. So let's go and jump right in. So you've got a list. As I mentioned, there's 980 laws that were passed. Newsom, as of the taping of this show, has signed or decided to sign or veto about half of them. He has vetoed 1 out of 5 of the proposed laws sent to him by the legislature. Here are some of the good, the bad, the ugly. First, let's start out with the good. Governor Newsom, to his credit, signed into law State Senator Shannon Grove's legislation to increase penalties for predators, people who traffic children. And Shannon Grove, I have to give her great credit. She comes up with good ideas, and she really hammers the Democrats and holds them accountable when they try to kill her bills. This bill is going to be so important to fighting the child trafficking in this state and the predatory nature of it. And it shows that when Republicans pick popular ideas that have overwhelming public support, even the left-wing Democrats who don't want those bills, they are forced to go along. And even this governor, who is no friend of crime victims and has always been over backwards and then some to help out criminals, even this governor had to sign Shannon Grove's legislation into law. So he signed that bill, providing important tools to law enforcement. What did Newsom veto? Surprisingly, 2 bills relating to illegal immigration. One is a bill that would allow illegal immigrants to get $150,000 each to buy a home in the state of California. I know, isn't it just nauseating? You can barely afford your own rent payment, or to buy. As many people, can't buy a house in California because of the absurd housing affordability crisis that we are facing, given the policies that politicians like Newsom and others have implemented. But here they come along saying, "Oh, let's give $150,000 to folks that have broken the rules to get in here in the first place and just want the handouts." Well, Newsom is running for president in 4 years, probably knows that Harris doesn't have that great of a shot. And so he doesn't want to be too extreme. So he vetoes this bill. But remember, the legislature passed it. So again, we are up against a supermajority in Sacramento that is bat blank crazy when it comes to giving your tax dollars out to people who are not even citizens and don't deserve it. Another bill that Newsom vetoed relating to immigration is a bill from Assemblymember Dave Alvarez of San Diego that would basically force California state government to violate federal immigration and employment law by giving taxpayer-funded government jobs to illegal immigrants through the California university and state college system. The CSU and the UC system would have been mandated to give these jobs in violation of federal employment law. It would have put the hiring officials at risk legally for federal prosecution and penalties. And it would also put the migrants at risk because they would be breaking federal employment law, and that's one of the elements that's considered in terms of any procedures they may go through in the future to be naturalized. Newsom vetoed both those bills. I'll give him credit. A broken clock is right twice a day, but don't trust this guy at all. He's an open borders extremist. California Matters, the liberal blog, picked up Newsom is vetoing 1 out of 5 bills. Again, that's as of this morning. And here are some of the bills that they are interested in covering. First, Senate Bill 804 would have allowed community service officers, these are government employees, social workers, to testify at hearings against criminals. Newsom doesn't want community service officers to testify against criminals, so he muzzled them, censored them, saying, nope, we're not going to allow these government agents to testify in court. Again, hampering prosecutors. Next, a bill that I saw that was interesting was the Assembly Bill 544 that would allow felons in prison to expand their voting rights. He vetoed that. What he signed was SB 954, which gives out, I can't say it on YouTube or they'll basically suppress our video, but you can see it there. We're now putting government money into $5 million of government funds to give underage students various things for them to engage in various romantic activity without their parents knowing. Another one would be Assembly Bill 1950. He vetoed a task force to study giving financial reparations to people that the liberals say were harmed by racism. And he vetoed that bill saying, well, it's a local issue. Let's let the locals deal with it. But what did he sign? He signed a bill to officially apologize for Californians being racist. I know. Nauseating. Again, it's all virtue signaling. Next, Senate Bill 936, he vetoed asking Caltrans to look at our roads and figure out why the roads are in disrepair. It sounds like something that I would like to see happen. It's frankly shouldn't have to require a law be passed to say, Caltrans, you should look at why the roads are so crappy in California. I'll tell you why, because the politicians have stolen the money from the road funds. But he said, nope, we're going to veto that. He also vetoed AB 2903, which would require audits of the billions and billions of dollars wasted on California's failed approach to homelessness. $24 billion spent since 2018 of your taxpayer money, which we have no accounting for. Well, we do see the failure. We have the highest percentage, 56%, of the unsheltered homeless population in the nation, even though we only have 12% of the nation's total population. Where's this money going to? I'll tell you where it's going. Under Housing First, the failed approach that the Democrats have to homelessness, where they coddle homeless people and they don't enforce any rules for clean, sane, or sober living, where they don't focus on treatment. They just give keys to $1 million per unit government subsidized drug dens, housing projects, Section 8 projects, that the developers are building with that $24 billion. And of course, the reason why it costs $1 million per pop, whenever you put government money on the table, everyone gets a piece of the cheese, a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. And a lot of that money goes back to the politicians who are giving the rich developers these subsidies at your expense in the form of campaign contributions. The developer gives the politician at the state and local level, the Democrats, some Republicans, but mainly Democrats, campaign contributions for all these billions of dollars that are going to building these government subsidized housing units. And remember, when they build these units, they want to put them in your neighborhood. No rules, no accountability, no protection. Okay, another one says that Senate Bill 1220, it would ban agencies staffing call centers with AI. Again, embrace the future. Technology is the wave of the future. Don't get involved with the private sector trying to make things more efficient. Um, so there you go. Now let's talk about some other bills that Cal Matters did not cover. And it relates to the affordable housing crisis and how it's going to get worse under bills that Newsom has signed into law. This one, once again, undermines landlords' ability to protect their investment, and it hurts good tenants at the expense of bad tenants. So, a new law that Newsom just signed into effect would basically, it's Assembly Bill 2347, doubles the time for renters to respond to eviction notices from 5 to 10 days. And again, remember, the eviction notice is just the first part of a very lengthy and costly process a landlord has to go through in order to get a bad tenant kicked out, whether that's a squatter or someone who's not paying rent or someone who's preying on their neighbors. Remember, I always say that these eviction limitation laws, eviction bans, they implemented over the past several years using the pandemic as an excuse. These issues all protect bad tenants at the expense of good tenants and cause the cost of good tenants for their rent to skyrocket. So that the guy who lives in the housing unit that's running a meth lab and attacking his neighbors, and that all the tenants want the guy gone, but the landlord says, "Sorry, Gavin Newsom doesn't allow me to evict them. My hands are tied. Can't do anything. Oh, by the way, he's not paying rent, so I have to increase your rent to just pay a mortgage and keep the place open." Again, these ideas cause your housing costs to go up. They infringe upon private property rights, and it protects bad actors. The whole common theme of all the do-gooderism of the left is they penalize good people to benefit the bad people. And it's not just that bill. When it comes to infringing upon private property rights and causing the cost of rent to skyrocket, Newsom is so happy about some 56 bills that he has signed that the vast majority of them make housing more expensive, but the liberal media is touting how wonderful he's doing in cutting the cost of housing. Oh, blank. Not true. And so all these bills he signed into law, restricting the nature of security deposits, restricting the ability of landlords to get basic information and background checks on tenants who apply. It's just insane. Look, at Reform California, we follow these bills through the process from the moment they're introduced. We alert you to bad bills so that you can help us defeat the bills. And of course, come election time, we make sure that voters know how their politicians voted on key good bills and key bad bills. Because we believe that the best way to stop bad bills, throw the bums out of office. Can't do that without your help. So there's a couple things I'm asking you to do as we make note of the vetoes and the approvals of Gavin Newsom on this round of legislation. And that is activate in this campaign. Ballots arrive any day now, and voting will begin. We need you to share the Reform California Plain English Voter Guide with all of your friends and family. It gives you a plain English description of all the statewide propositions and local tax measures on your ballot. Most of those measures hidden. And the statewide measures are confusing, they're hidden and deceived. The voters are confused and deceived by false and misleading ballot titles placed on the ballot by the state's corrupt politicians. So give yourself and your friends a cheat sheet, the Plain English Voter Guide from Reform California. Go to our website, electionguidecalifornia.org, electionguidecalifornia.org to get the voter guide. Also, we endorse candidates from all the way at the top of the ticket down to school board, fire district, and judge. We evaluate candidates based upon their commitment to no tax increases, public safety, supporting the police, making sure that they are for border security, and of course, respecting the voice of parents in education. We make all of our endorsements based upon these criteria, and we urge you to check out those endorsements so you know the good, the bad, the ugly of the candidates on your ballot. Finally, in addition to sharing the voter guide at electionguidecalifornia.org, please put gas in our campaign tank. We need to get those voter guides out to voters through email, through text, through canvassing students that we hire to go door to door, and of course, through our mailers. Go online to reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org, and chip in a contribution of any amount. Those are the bills, and that's how we can fight back to take back our state. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.